Good morning and welcome to Blue Mountain Morning. I'm Mark, joined as always by my friend Alex on this crisp Monday, March 24th.
Another Monday, but hey, at least we've got this little oasis of calm before diving into the chaos of the week, right, Mark?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we're here for, to distill the overwhelming flood of news into something that actually makes sense.
Like turning a fire hose of information into a nice, refreshing mountain stream? Is that too on the nose with our name?
Just the right amount. Let's help our listeners start their day with some clarity, connection, and maybe even a little inspiration. Let's dive into today's Horizon, where we highlight the news you need to know as you start your day.
Oh boy, Columbia University is in hot water, right? I mean, $400 million in federal funding pulled. That's not just a slap on the wrist. That's like having your entire arm removed.
It is significant. U.S. Education Secretary Linda McMahon said on Sunday that Columbia University has taken some good first steps toward addressing concerns about anti-Semitism on campus, which could potentially lead to restoring that federal funding.
Wait, so the Trump administration basically strong-armed them into making changes? What kind of changes are we talking about here?
The administration cited allegations that Columbia was tolerating anti-Semitism on campus. While specific changes weren't detailed in the reports, it appears Columbia has begun implementing measures that satisfied at least some of the administration's concerns.
Interesting timing with all the pro-Palestinian protests we've been seeing on college campuses lately.
Meanwhile, there's another concerning development. The Washington Post is reporting that the IRS is nearing a deal with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to share confidential tax data to support deportation efforts.
What? Isn't tax information supposed to be, like, super private? I thought there were laws about that.
That's exactly why this is raising serious alarms. Under this proposed agreement, ICE could give names and addresses of undocumented immigrants to the IRS, which would then cross-reference them with taxpayer databases.
But don't we actually encourage undocumented people to pay taxes? I mean, isn't that why we have those special tax IDs for people without social security numbers?
That's right. This would mark a major shift in how this data is used, potentially becoming the first time immigration officials have relied on the tax system for enforcement in such a broad way. It's raising significant concerns about privacy rights and potential abuse of power.
So let me get this straight. We tell people, pay your taxes even if you're undocumented. Here's a special number to use, and then turn around and use that information to find and deport them. That seems problematic.
According to reports, the deal has even raised alarm bells within the IRS itself, where this data has traditionally been closely guarded. Let's move on to our ripple effects segment, where today we're diving into a topic that's becoming increasingly urgent for millions of Americans: climate migration.
Climate migration? You mean like people packing up and leaving because it's too hot? That's actually a thing?
It absolutely is, Alex. As temperatures rise across America, we're seeing a growing trend of people relocating specifically because of climate conditions, particularly extreme heat.
Oh my God, I was in Phoenix last summer visiting my cousin, and I thought I was going to melt. Literally melt. It was like 115 degrees for days on end. How do people live like that?
Well, increasingly, they don't. Phoenix is actually one of the prime examples of this phenomenon. The city has seen record-breaking heat waves, with stretches of days over 110 degrees becoming more common. Some neighborhoods recorded ground temperatures of nearly 180 degrees during peak heat.
Wait, 180 degrees? That's literally hot enough to cook food. You could fry an egg on the sidewalk.
People have actually done that, but jokes aside, it's becoming a serious quality of life issue. We're seeing migration patterns forming as people leave these extreme heat zones.
So where are all these heat refugees going? Like, is Alaska suddenly going to become the new California?
It's interesting you mention that. Climate scientists and urban planners have identified several climate haven cities that could see population booms in the coming decades. Places like Duluth, Minnesota, Buffalo, New York, and Portland, Maine are positioned to become more attractive as they have cooler temperatures, access to fresh water, and less exposure to wildfires and coastal flooding.
Duluth? Really? I mean, I guess it makes sense with all that nice, cool Lake Superior air, but isn't it like really cold in the winter?
That's changing too. With warming temperatures, these northern cities are seeing milder winters while still maintaining relatively cool summers. They also typically have infrastructure that's built for extreme weather, unlike some southern cities that weren't designed with sustained triple-digit temperatures in mind.
So Florida must be emptying out too, right? I mean, between the heat and the hurricanes and the flooding.
It's actually more complicated than that. While some coastal areas in Florida are seeing what experts call climate gentrification, Where rising sea levels push people inland, Florida as a whole is still growing. Some people are so attached to the lifestyle that they're willing to accept the climate risks.
But what about all the infrastructure? I mean, if suddenly Buffalo has like 1 million more people, can they handle that?
That's the million-dollar question, or more accurately, the multi-billion-dollar question. These potential climate haven cities will need massive investments in housing, transportation, water systems, and energy grids to accommodate population surges.
So basically we're looking at housing crises everywhere? Great.
It's definitely a concern. But some forward-thinking cities are already planning for this. Duluth, for example, has been exploring how to sustainably grow its population by up to 100,000 people in the coming decades.
Wait, are people really making moving decisions based on climate projections? Like, honey, let's sell the house and move to Buffalo because the climate models show it'll be nice in 2045?
People might not frame it exactly that way, but climate considerations are increasingly factoring into relocation decisions. A recent survey found that nearly half of Americans who plan to move in the next year cite climate concerns as a factor.
I wonder what this means for places like, I don't know, Detroit or Cleveland, those Rust Belt cities that lost so many people over the decades.
Those could actually be prime for revitalization. The Great Lakes region has abundant fresh water, relatively mild climate projections, and existing infrastructure that could support larger populations. Cities like Detroit, Cleveland, and Milwaukee that have struggled economically might find new opportunities as climate migration accelerates.
So the climate losers become the climate winners? That's quite the plot twist.
In some ways, yes. But it's important to remember that climate migration will create enormous challenges for both the places people leave and the places they go to. And these shifts won't happen equally. Wealthier people can more easily relocate, while lower-income communities often remain in increasingly dangerous conditions.
Oof, that's depressing. So basically, climate change is going to reshuffle the entire American population map and make inequality worse?
It could, without proper planning and investment. That's why many experts are calling for federal support for both climate adaptation in vulnerable cities and infrastructure expansion in potential haven cities. This isn't just about individual choices. It requires coordinated policy responses.
Well, I guess I should start looking at real estate in Duluth then, huh?
Maybe don't rush just yet, but it's definitely worth considering climate projections in any long-term living decisions. The America of 2050 will likely have very different population centers than the America of today. And now we come to our final segment, The Morning Whisper, where we leave you with something to carry through your day.
Oh, thank God, I need some calm after thinking about moving to Duluth. No offense to any Duluthians listening.
You know, all this talk about migration and change reminds me that while our external environments shift, we can still find stillness within ourselves.
That's surprisingly deep, Mark. I was expecting you to just tell everyone to drink more coffee.
Coffee helps, but I'd like to offer our listeners something more sustaining. Wherever you are right now, maybe stuck in traffic, making breakfast, or just waking up, take a moment to notice your breath.
Like right now?
Yes, right now. Just 3 conscious breaths. Feel the air coming in and going out.
Oh, I actually feel a little better.
That's the power of presence. In a world where we might need to adapt to new homes, new climates, new challenges, our breath is always with us, anchoring us to the present moment.
So it's like, even if I have to pack up and move to Buffalo someday, I can still bring my breath with me? That's actually kind of comforting.
Exactly. Change is inevitable, but our capacity to find stillness amid that change is always available to us. That awareness is the ultimate portable sanctuary.
Well, folks, that brings us to the end of another Blue Mountain morning. I'm feeling weirdly zen after that breathing exercise. Who knew?
That's the power of a good morning whisper. And we hope you're feeling a bit more grounded as you head into your Monday.
If you enjoyed today's show, why not share it with someone who could use a little calm with their morning coffee? We're basically therapy, but free.
And much less qualified. If you do share the podcast, let us know. Send us an email at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com for a shout out on tomorrow's show.
Oh yeah, my ego loves the validation of hearing strangers say nice things about me.
We'll be back tomorrow with more moments of clarity to help you navigate the day ahead.
Same time, same place, same unhinged energy from yours truly. See you tomorrow on Blue Mountain Morning.